Good morning, good day, good life. How is everyone this day? I hope everyone is having the most perfectly beautiful experience in this moment, day, or week, or whenever you're hearing this. I'm sending you love. Let's see. So, my sharing today, briefly, will be what I want to share about what my inner process is when I go through powerfully deep, strong emotional things. Sometimes those deep, powerful, emotional things are anger or grief or uh, just out and outright frustration and disillusionment. Lots of definitions I could give it. But when I feel it so powerfully deep that I feel like I don't know what else to do but scream or to, act out, I my way of coping with that or shifting that is as soon as I recognize I'm on the edge of not I guess losing myself in it, I have several deep breaths. I do my clearing with intention, proclamation of who I am. And as I'm moving through that, I'm also giving myself permission to not think about, understand, or process in any typical ways all that was going on. There are moments when that will be important, but most of the time, these sort of flash triggers that I experience, I have through practice been able to shift to truth without burying or denying that I've had those feelings. That's really a key element of it. I'm acknowledging that feeling without having to understand where it came from or why or putting any attachment to it. I acknowledge the feeling. Then I'm having my breath. I'm clearing, intending the truth of who I am. And in that, then feeling that I am reconnecting to the flow of my natural state, and I trust that with my guidance, I will look at in any moment that's appropriate for me, the depth of where the trigger gets stimulated in me, how and why, whatever that could be. Some people may look to past lives, so they might look to their childhood traumas that I'm not going to even get into here, but I'm just going to say wherever that is, I check with my inner guidance. Is that appropriate for me to do that now? Usually no. And then when I'm in a more clear place of consciousness where I intend to not be functioning in things other than that process of being with spirit, being with my inner self, then I will be asked to be shown what I need to see or know about any of that. So I just thought I'd share that. It's not always easy, and I don't do it instantly all the time. But as I've shared before, this shifting of the dimensions of being in a state of anxiety over something and shifting the dimension where now I'm in a state of neutrality with something, that's part of this. It's an aspect of this that I'm talking about today. So I'm happy again to just invite anybody who wants to practice or learn a little bit more about how to find those quicker rebalances, because believe me, I don't think I'm the only one that in the state of the world, the state of things as they seem to be expressing right now, are full of daily tests for the ego self to let go, to trust something bigger. So inviting anybody who wants to play in that with me and to explore that, just drop us an email or a note and we will connect with you on that, and we'll see where we can offer the timing of serving that need to be met. Well, I'm feeling spirit big. I'm just pointing out my word this day. Begin. When they told me that this morning, I said, oh, yeah, I had a conversation about that with them about, I'll start when, I'll begin when, and all that sort of blah, blah, blah. And they just kept saying, well, begin now. I said, begin what now? So anyway, I went through a whole thing this morning. I'm just inviting you to just begin something, whatever that is. And that's just a breath or a moment, as they were reminding me. It's not a project. It's not a life, whole life path necessarily. It's a moment. So have fun with that. And we'll be back at the conclusion of Spirit Sharing today. Greetings, beloved friends. I am Raphael, and I have a very important word that I will build my conversation with you around this day. That word is blindness. Blindness, or blind. When you know that so many of the beloved masters have shared for millennium to those who would hear, that it is so important that you remove the blinders from your body, from your heads, from your eyes, from your heart, so that you may heal and be available for the healing for all the rest that would come to you for that. So I don't bring you new information about that, but I share as reminders of what that might feel like or look like to you. As you can see, without humanly visible eyes, because believe me, a human body with blindness in the oracle senses, in the oracle senses, can still have blind spots in their consciousness, in their thinking, in their heart. So blindness is a very big element of why people are not experiencing consistency in their peace, consistency in their healing of self and of that which they wish to expand into their world. So for you to recognize your blindness, it is most important to know, as in all these programs you have been learning with in this earthly realm, to first acknowledge that perhaps I have been blind to truth, or to the wholeness of truth that I need. Perhaps I have experienced eliminating my sight for my comfort and for my need to see my world and the world around me in a certain way. So from the smallest part of that, the blindness can be personal. And it always comes to that. And it can be in community, it can be global, because there are patterns. Like everything in your life, the collection of certain consciousness builds a depth of blindness in it, because it then builds an expectation that all must eventually see our way, or that something is wrong when others do not see that as the group, or that the world itself has a problem, and the problem lies out there. We don't want to claim that you have a problem. We want to claim the first step is acknowledging that perhaps you have been limited in your vision of truth, and then in your prayer, in aligned with the God, Goddess all that is, and aligned with the I am presence, the wholeness of your being, intend, I am now willing to be shown, to be told, to be invited into a bigger truth. I am willing. And the third most important part of this conversation is, once you have acknowledged, perhaps, proclaimed willingness, invite the teachers of your spirit here on earth to bring you that in the most appropriate timing and in the most appropriate way. You can ask, and it is given to you. What has happened in your life that has ever come to you to say, oh, this is a truth, and you resist that because you know that is not the truth? When have you resisted to expand truth in you, your experience of truth? This is not the conversation about intentional or accidental lying, consciously or deliberately, even subconsciously driven lies about things in your personal world and in any other world that you imagine. That's another part of it, but that's not what we're speaking this day. We're speaking about truth. Capital T, some would say. For the healing, begin to recognize all of life has an aspect of truth expressing. And as that becomes more true for you, and true in your inner acknowledgement, you also see that no one thing can be the only truth. So while we are not promoting you to continue claiming my truth, your truth, it's not about comparing or defending what you perceive to be truth for you. It's about that willing openness in your heart and in the mind of your creation to follow a path which invites truth to be shown, truth to be known, truth to be expanded. In these ways, we are speaking not of an element of fact. We are speaking in the element of using this word truth as another, perhaps synonym, you might say in your language, of divine love, of all that is. God, Goddess, all these elements that you hold as the most high oneness of being. We use truth to be another way, another path of merging with and of healing wherever resistance to truth has lived in you. So for some, when they have ailments in their body, experiencing discord, elements of pain, discomfort, dis-ease, some will approach that healing by the introspection and examination of all the ways you have lived your life in a pattern, blocking something, resisting something, and those can open up your eyes for sure. But it is also that's not the only way to heal, because it is not necessary to consciously discover all the ways it has been implanted within you in that way. We are not giving it disservice by these words. We are saying there are more ways, more expanded ways for you to achieve the healing you desire in body and in your wholeness of spirit in a more simple way. So as we were saying, when you have acknowledged truth to be more than what you have been holding to be in your limited mind or heart, and then you have expressed willingness to discover the depth and the expansion of truth, you are able then to ask and receive, what is yours to know about this? Is it important for me to know where I contracted this illness physically or energetically or other lifetime, or was it an attack upon my body? And made up stories like this. They are important when they are important, but that is not always necessary. Ask, is it important that I know this now? When you receive your answer as yes, then ask to be shown the element of that would be most directly important for you to acknowledge, to bless, release, and accept the full, whole truth. If it is your answer that no, it is not important, then what would be that which would help you? So you see, it's a matter of continually refining how you surrender, how you ask, and how you stay open to receive and to trust that. If you are clear with your breath and with your light and with your expansion of whole being, then you are asking of that which is of that frequency and not demanding out of fear and out of all the other limited places of your being. Because when you ask of the angels, if you ask of the divine realm and the masters, but you're asking not from clarity, a point of openness, but from a point of fear and tightness, you may not receive the message from those realms. You may receive the message from a more limited realm of consciousness, which intends to help you in a way that's more limited, or an intention to use that to keep you in this stuck space. A lot of this is news. A lot of this is old news, and all of it is truth. So what will you do with these pieces of information we have shared? What will you do in your day-to-day work to remove the blinders? A great master teacher has said, focus is not doing this, it's just holding truth so that you have the peripheral vision of all things around that focus point. You don't have to look like this, like there's nothing else. So blindness to who you are and to who everything is as an element expressing truth, but no one individual, no one group, no one expanded or contracted expression can in and of itself contain all truth. It can flow through, but it cannot be held. So I offer the healing of the angelic realm, and my physicians in spirit who will assist you to remove, as some would say, the splinter or the log in your eye. Whatever there is, we can help you do that. And we can help you then go deeper into the healing of all the things in your bodies that are asking to be reset and realigned. So for those hearing these words, I invite you to, in your depth of being, breathe Breathe deeply. And to feel in and around you the presence of the angelic wings, which are an expression of the capacity to be in full flight with all light, and that be surrounding you and touching you in the body, physical, emotional, mental, and so forth, to bring a new frequency of truth to that place, or those places which have held pain, discomfort, and so forth. And that in that holding of that, the truth you need is revealed, and the healing you desire is received. Hallelujah. Well, thank you for my dimension that I got to play in while this message came for you today. I look forward to listening to the message, another point of the day for me. I did have an experience of meeting someone I don't remember physically or in the sense meeting before, and my ancestral lineup of this life was very interesting because I was shown or given in that conversation some tidbit of information about the DNA physically, passed on with all of that, and a key piece of information about moving through that in order to recognize how that's connected to all the rest of life. It was a big conversation. So thank you for that. I will continue to hopefully integrate and understand more depth of what that message for me was. Let's see. Don't have any play shops coming up in the very near future, but Spirit's working in my daily meditation to show me some possibilities for coming up. And so with your feedback and with their feedback putting into my own consciousness, I will be making fun choices of playing and offering as we go forward. Meanwhile, till next Wednesday Wisdom, have a beautiful time. Thank you.